Please stop airing this in public. This is not healthy for our country. Stop. Over 1,000 likes. Work it out privately. Be more grateful. Be more grateful. We already covered posts like this from Trump where he was responding in fire, with fire and fury, so to speak, to Elon Musk's comments about Jeffrey Epstein and his terrible bill, and why would he lie about me, and Elon wanting EV credits. And one of these posts I just wanted to note again because of the response it got under it, because we just read the post yesterday, but I did not bother to go into the replies of Truth Social. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not an avid Truth Social user. I don't really that's not really my hangout area. I don't really go there to discuss which president's a clone or not. But let me reread this to you guys and then show you guys some of the replies, because there were thousands of them, thousands of replies, and most of them were not positive. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Let me show you some of the, here's another one, of course. Elon was wearing thin, etc., etc., etc. He's crazy. He's crazy. Let me show you what the replies had to say. As my first comment on this platform, wow. It's inspired him to speak, to raise his voice in unison. As my first comment on this platform, I can say in a bipartisan manner, quit being an ungrateful douchebag, Mr. President. Man, on Truth Social, mind you, Trump owns Truth Social. This isn't Twitter, where Elon owns it. This is Truth Social. This is owned by Trump's LLC. This is Trump's social media platform. Bro, he helped you to the death. I am disappointed in the blow up between you and Elon. Together, you were an unbeatable force. Apart, you are both weakened. Something that makes our enemies very happy. I love these profile. I'm imagining the people in the profile picture saying it sometimes, because most of the times it's just like a patriotic symbol, but I'm imagining that old woman saying this. Together, you were an unbeatable force. Apart, you were both weakened. She's speaking like she's Sun Tzu. It's great. It's beautiful. Beautiful, in fact. Oh, man. Don't jump all over Elon. And look at these. These are not getting mostly negative responses. These are getting mostly positive responses. That one got over 900 likes compared to 44 replies. Why are you picking a fight with one of your best allies? So stupid. What is wrong with you? Please stop. 850 likes. Please don't display your differences on social media. Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that, Deborah. You are making a terrible mistake. Elon and Doge was about saving money. Lots of it. What good is saving 1 trillion if you raise the ceiling by 4 trillion? Think clearly about this. Congress is playing you like a fiddle. Congress must find, man, to openly say that Trump is getting played like a fiddle, like he's being made a fool of, that Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader Thune are the Pied Pipers, and Donald Trump is the rat dancing behind them, chasing them through the streets, dancing to their tune. That's a pretty big condemnation. I remember watching, I think it might have been on PBD no, it was one of PBD's. I forget. He's like the tiny gremlin from PBD. I don't know his name. Somebody might immediately know who I'm talking about. He's like the small gremlin that doesn't stop yelling no matter what the topic is. He's gonna be talking about Swiss cheese, and he's gonna have a vein popping out of his forehead. I saw him on Piers Morgan, and when somebody brought up a bad Trump policy, or Trump's not really doing well in this Ukraine stuff, one of his responses that I just thought really showed cult behavior was are you saying that Trump could be dragged along, Trump could be made a fool of, as if to imply that the insinuation that Trump could be getting the worst end of the stick in a negotiation is such sacrilege that to say it, to even suggest something like that should get you a dismissal outright, right? He's called the Gremlin. We'll just call him the Gremlin then. We'll just call him the Gremlin. Elon is a great man from Queenie 31. Please shut up about issues that should be addressed man to man. America needs both of you, or the corrupt will destroy our country. Oh my God, dude. Excuse me, Mr. Crypto President, the guy that, has a crypto scheme where any foreign government or player or actor could give you millions upon hundreds of millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars. And, it's really not traceable. It's not monitorable by the government unless the people who are giving you that money through the crypto announce they're doing it. Nobody's going to know they're doing it, right? Like, and unless, of course, they inform the president of the United States in case they needed a favor in return. That's not the corruption issue. No. The buying out of the hotels isn't the corruption issue. No. Elon accessing our nation's secret information, our nation's classified information, our nation's private information unconstitutionally. That's not corrupt. Him gutting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the anti-scam police, as the richest man in the world. That's not corrupt. If the richest man in the world and the New York socialist businessman cannot fight against the deep state, then what will our nation do? I'm sorry, man. I'm so cynical. Sir, with all due respect, this is a massive mistake on your part. We don't have time for this. Thank you, James. Please stop airing this in public. This is not healthy for our country. Stop. Over 1,000 likes. Work it out privately. Be more grateful. Be more grateful. Again, this is directed towards Donald Trump's replies. These are not Elon's replies. These are Donald Trump's replies. Donald Trump's replies. Mr. President, don't let the press bait you into a fight with Elon. That's what they want. What do you mean the press is baiting them into a... Elon suggested that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files in a manner that is criminal, right? He wouldn't even bring it up if it didn't matter, if it was like, oh, Trump's in the Epstein file, and Epstein wrote, I can't corrupt this guy. He's just too cool. He's the bee's knees. What do you mean that's the press baiting him into a fight? Elon is like full court press, like opening fire on Donald Trump. It's not the press that did this. Of course, the press are eating this up. This is like, hey, the reality TV star is doing reality television again. Who would have thought it? It's good for ratings, but it's not them baiting him into it. Elon did the attack on his bill, escalated the attack on his bill. Donald Trump responded to that escalation of the attack on his bill, and then Elon escalated further by talking about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump being on the list, the same list that Donald Trump still refuses to release the unredacted version of, again, the most notorious perverted criminal in the history of perversion. So this isn't like a media scheme or anything. I understand that, like, the idea that Donald Trump could have just stepped on a rake, or that Elon Musk's ego is too big to restrict him, or that Elon, in this instance, might actually be slightly operating off of principle. Because, while I don't like Elon, I don't want to demonize him to the point where my judgment's being clouded. It's not hard for me to see him wanting to preserve that Doge legacy, especially since, like, they didn't really accomplish particularly that much by trying to fight against the national debt or the national deficit. And this bill does continue to increase our national debt. And this bill will see the servicing costs on the deficit continue to increase towards the last 3 years of Donald Trump's term. Elon Musk helped to save our republic last election cycle. Please stop this war of words between the two of you. If memory serves me, I honestly, let me let you guys in on a little secret. There is nothing that angers me more, that actually personally gets under my skin, anytime a Trump supporter or anybody in Trump's circle refers to the Republic, right? Refers to the same republic that they ignored when it comes to due process, refers to the same republic that they ignored when it came to the checks and balances of the courts and our three systems, or, ignored when it comes to congressional oversight, or ignored when it comes to, hey, I want to suspend the Constitution permanently because I didn't win an election, or ignored when it came to completely just rejecting the results of a democratic election with no evidence as he tried to clutch on to power. Like, this is not somebody who cares about the republic. This is somebody who is trying to undermine the broadcast rights of major news organizations that release coverage that is critical of his time in office. This is not somebody who cares about the republic. So anytime I hear them reference the republic, I like a vein pops, just like somewhere. Not on my face, of course, you can't say, but a vein somewhere pops. Please stop this war of words between the two of you. If memory serves me correctly, something similar happened in Trump's first term with Elon. Maybe Musk should tell you privately what's bugging him. As you as well, I really liked you two together. Do not do this. Elon worked hard and got a lot done. We owe him thanks, not disrespect. And then Robertus Trump, a Trump fan account. Look at what he posts, an old CatTurd post. You might as well not worry about what the worthless Republicans do in Congress. You already know they're never going to do anything to help Trump, Elon, or Doge. Why? Because most of them are in on the theft. The funny thing about this is CatTurd is like super called in on like the Trump cult. Like CatTurd is the guy who's going to be fighting. Well, no, he's not going to be fighting in the Reichstag, but he's going to be stuffing his face in the Reichstag like to the end. You know, this is a guy who is like, how dare you attack dear leader? And I mean, to the point where he's like worse than some of the worst propagandists. One second, I think I have a post actually pulled up here just to get a point across my point about CatTurd, who's much better at flattening his pets with his car than he is at political commentary. This is Alex Jones saying Trump needs to respond ASAP. I noticed he did not take questions at his public meeting today. This is in response to the accusation that he's in the Epstein files, which for someone like Alex Jones, if that was proven to be true, he would have two options. One is deny, 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 and the other would be panic because of where he's aligned himself politically. I mean, if people don't remember this, but Donald Trump went on InfoWars back in 2015 when he was running on the campaign trail, and CatTurd responded. What a POS Alex Jones turned out to be. What a effing fraud. He's literally implying here that Trump is a pedo. He's been silent all day while Trump has been viciously attacked with lies. Lies, dastardly lies. I used to respect Alex Jones, but now he's just a POS fraud. What a sellout. Guys, I'm starting to think Alex Jones might not be a reputable reporter. You know, I started to get some sneaking suspicions once he made up all those lies about those dead kids at Sandy Hook that got all those families harassed for years to come. But now that he possibly floats the idea that maybe the Epstein files should be released, that's my line. My line wasn't the dead kids. My line was calling for transparency when it comes to the biggest sex criminal in American history. Thank you, CatTurd. Your political commentary has once again blessed us all. Blessed us all. Blessed us everyone. So as Elon continues to open fire on the bill, and Trump's own supporters seem to not really like this. They don't like the fight. They think it's good for the left. They think it's good for their enemy, the media. They think it's dividing the administration from stuff they could get done. It's taking away potential capital that could assist Trump's causes in 2026 when he's going to have almost certainly a particularly bitter midterm if the polling holds and, you know, historical trends hold as well. And so if Trump is going to want to try to hold his ground in the midterms or want to challenge the results of the midterms because he cannot accept a Democratic vote where he doesn't come out on top, someone like Elon Musk could be a real asset to him as the richest man in the world, especially the richest man in the world who also has control of one of the largest social media companies in the world. According to Fox, Trump has decided that he doesn't want to have a sit-down meeting with Musk. He doesn't want to have a call with Musk. He doesn't want to meet with Musk. Right now, these guys ain't talking. And this is Fox, by the way, if you think it's the liberal mainstream media saying it. Well, I mean, maybe if you're on Truth Social and you're an OAN viewer and your favorite news host is Matt Gaetz, then you might still consider Fox the lamestream media, but you get my point.
We bring you some breaking news, this time from Bret Baier, who just spoke to President Trump on the phone. He reflected on Elon Musk, and here's what Bret learned in that phone call. Trump is not interested in talking to Elon. Trump is not worried about threats of a third party. Now, that comes because Elon Musk tweeted this. He put up a poll and he said, it is time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle. He asked that as a question of his followers. So he asked about a potential third party. President Trump says he's not worried to Brett Baer. President Trump also pointed to his favorable polls and his strong support among Capitol Hill Republicans. Noteworthy, Elon Musk called for constituents to call congressmen and women. Whether those calls have materialized, I've seen reports that they have not. Would also note, underscoring President Trump's point, he's ahead in the Real Clear Politics average of Obama and Bush at this point in the second term. And finally, a direct quote from Brett Baer from President Trump. The quote from President Trump is this: Elon has totally lost it. So more on that feud as the day progresses.
I like how in this like civil war, they have to like, okay, guys, to be clear, they're better than Obama. They're better than Bush at this point. X, Y, Z. They have to like go out of their way to like pad this and pad that. But I will say it is quite funny to hear that, you know, those calls to Congress people's offices didn't materialize, because that doesn't surprise me whatsoever, because there's quite a difference between liking a post on Twitter that calls Democrats gay and calling a congressman to call them gay. It takes a lot more effort, and it takes you actually like expressing yourself in public with your voice. So if you have a certain amount of raising social anxiety that keeps you online all the time, or you're just like lazy and you don't really care all that much, yeah, that might be a problem if those are the people that make up your movement in your widest reach, Elon. Anyway, Trump did respond in a few different ways, though. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is Donald J. Trump. He retweeted this. It's time to put President Trump on Mount Rushmore. Roger Stone. Congressman Anna Paula Luna has sponsored the legislation to put our 45th and 47th president on this national memorial. Signed a petition to support our effort. This is, look, okay? Maybe I'm just quoting this because Jonathan Voss just died, but that's how you get a curse, okay? And white people hate curses. Okay, the people who held that sacred land already aren't too happy about us putting all our founding fathers on there. If we start adding additions and we add President Donald Trump, and then later we add Vice President Donald Trump Jr., we start adding Barron on a throne. Mount Rushmore, if you just keep adding presidents, it kind of takes away from the effect, I feel. Not to mention, like, what did Donald Trump do to get him on Mount Rushmore particularly? Did he win a war? Did he found the country? Did he write something of significance? What national achievement? I mean, the presidential term isn't even over yet. I mean, to put somebody on the mountain with all the problems of the founding fathers, who would all of which who would accept the results of a democratic election, with somebody who would directly reject the republic, it's insulting, but it's also very funny, the idea. Also, Donald Trump has started retweeting David Schoen saying, I was hired to lead Jeffrey Epstein's defense as his criminal lawyer 9 days before he died. He sought my advice for months before that. I can say authoritatively, unequivocally, with no evidence to back it up, but believe me, and definitely, that he had no information to hurt President Trump. I specifically asked him. And Donald Trump retweeted this, but still continues, despite the fact that the evidence is overwhelming that Donald Trump didn't do anything with Jeffrey Epstein, even though his name was referenced in the book. But whatever, you know, just because his name's on that document with Jeffrey, and just because, you know, Donald Trump partied with Jeffrey, and just because Donald Trump said he liked his women on the younger side, and just because there was that audio leak right before the election of Jeffrey Epstein talking about his close personal relationship with Donald Trump, just because all that exists doesn't mean, you know, just because there's pillars and pillars of smoke doesn't mean they're fire. But this is, I'm sure this message from back in 2024 when Donald Trump was running for the presidency, this would assuage your guys' concerns. If you guys think that there's a possibility that maybe all that smoke might actually mean there's fire, well, don't worry. When Donald Trump was asked if he would declassify the Jeffrey Epstein files, this is what he said.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Wow, look how easy that was. See how easy that was? 9/11, yes. Still hasn't declassified it, by the way. JFK, Yes, still hasn't declassified it, by the way.
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
I like 9/11, absolutely. JFK, absolutely. Jeffrey Epstein, yeah, well, you know, maybe actually less so. You know, we don't want to like turn up some stones that don't need to be upturned. I mean, like, come Jeffrey who? I mean, let's move on. Don't you guys know Puff Daddy's around? We gotta know. We have a new sex pest, guys. Come on, go after. Look at all the lotion. Ignore the island. Look at all the lotion. Now let's look at some of the people in the Trump orbit that have been processing this in very interesting ways. So first, here's Jack Posobiec. This is the same Jack Posobiec who wants an end to American democracy to replace it with a Christian theocracy. He says this openly. He makes speeches about it. He said this at like conservative conventions openly while like holding the cross that, you know, abolish democracy, replace with theocracy, replace democracy with this, and he holds up the cross. So this is somebody who disrespects the founding of this country, disrespects the republic, disrespects our democratic principles. And if he got his way, those who were enemies of the MAGA movement would not be allowed to express themselves, operate in a democratic way, because that could mean the end of their theocratic control, right? Or the end of the theocratic control that Jack Posobiec would like to see. So this is not somebody whose judgment I really take too seriously. But the only reason I bring this up is because this is the gayest post I've seen in a long time, and it's Pride Month, okay? And it's Pride Month. Some of y'all can't handle two high agency males going at it. Okay. That's very presumptuous of you to say, Jack Posobiec. You know, two high agency males going at it and can't handle. Okay. And it really shows. This is direct communication, phallocentric, versus indirect communication, gynocentric. I understand you aren't used to it. Look, guys, you know, this is just how two alphas communicate. This is just how men talk. You guys with your soy boy lifestyle and your like gluten-free avocado or whatever, you guys just don't understand that when two high agency males go at it, they just tend to suggest that the other is in the black book of one of the most notorious sex criminals in the country, in the history of the country. That's just what men do. I mean, haven't you guys ever been with the bros and be like, hey, bro, how's it going? Remember when you were with Harvey Weinstein? Remember when you partied with him? Have you guys never said that to one of the bros before? That's just how the bros talk. That's just like typical bromance, man. Typical bro behavior. This was a beautiful comic from Ben Garrison. And it's not only beautiful because of this interesting depiction of the Trump-Elon conflict, of Planet Musk crashing into Trump world. And, you know, you got Kill the Bill, Such Ingratitude, Epstein files. Ooh, impeach. He did call for Trump to be impeached. Cut this, blah, 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 worn thin, you know, their responses. Then you got the big pig, big beautiful bill. But the best part of this is what he wrote under this, because he seems to suggest that the reason why Elon Musk is doing this isn't because Donald Trump is in the Epstein files or the big beautiful bill. It's because he's autistic. A while back, Elon revealed he has Asperger's syndrome, which is a high-functioning form of autism. Individuals typically have above-average intelligence, but those afflicted are quick to anger and have difficulty with social relationships and maintaining friendships. It looks like an angry Musk is rejecting his friendship with President Trump, even though he recently gave Elon a golden key to the White House. Will Trump be forced to change the locks? Guys, it isn't that Trump's in the Epstein files. Guys, it's not that the big beautiful bill increases the deficit and increases the debt. It's not that the big beautiful bill is like not really like that factor doesn't really concern Trump that much because, you know, it's just not politically advantageous right now to care that much about the deficit. No, 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 no. Autism. Autism made Elon Musk comment on the Epstein files Donald Trump still refuses to release. Autism did that. Autism, Jeffrey Epstein, autism. Autism, everyone. Now, I wanted to check out Terrence K. Williams because he always has a lot of energy. And I wanted to see how that energy was directed during this feud as a hardcore MAGAite. Get this to Elon Musk. This is a message to Elon. Elon has to see this. Elon Musk, please call President Trump. You have his personal number. You have stayed at his properties, and he gave you a key to the White House. To be clear, it's like a key to the city. It's not like Elon can actually. Trump has so much respect and love for you. Show him some respect and please call him. Did you call, or is he not answering your calls? Mind you, we got the report from Fox that Donald Trump doesn't even want to talk to Elon, and he thinks he's completely lost it. So I don't really know what him calling him at this stage would do, but let's listen to Terrence give his passionate plea to Elon to stop the fighting. The movement must unite.
Oh my God.
Ah, God. I would be lying if I said I was not enjoying this.
Oh my God. My head is about to explode. Elon, pick up the phone and call President Trump. Just pick up the phone and call the president. You have his personal phone number. Pick up the phone and call him. Y'all, it is so much going on right now. Literally, it is too much going on at one time. Every time I get on the internet, is something new. Every time I log on, it is something new going on. Something absolutely crazy. Elon and President Trump, y'all don't need to be fighting each other. Y'all need to be fighting Congress because Congress is the problem. Now, Elon, you can easily call President Trump. Please get off the internet and call him. You have literally been hanging with President Trump for a while. You have been at Mar-a-Lago, having dinner with him, staying at his properties. You can call him. Y'all have spent countless of days together.
None of this matters. I'm sorry, if Elon actually cares about the deficit, if Elon actually cares about the debt, if Elon, it was not all performative, then what would a phone call even do? Is a phone call going to make Trump say, you know what, you're right, the big beautiful bill was a mistake, even though we already got it through the House, and now the Senate's looking at it, and it might be sent back with revisions. Let's start the whole process over. Like, I mean, he could do that. Is he going to do that? By what advantage does Trump actually get from sending this bill through the system again, but with revisions that would actually bring down the deficit? And I'm not saying what benefits the country would get. I'm saying what benefits Donald Trump would get. Donald Trump, like many other self-serving politicians, is going to look at that potential deficit spending, is going to look at the ability to spend money that will then increase our deficit servicing cost and think it's better I spend it on priorities I care about, like immigration enforcement or military spending or, you know, military marches on my birthday, whatever it is. It's better that I do what is necessary to please my constituency rather than sit on that, try to balance the budget, and then pass a balanced budget over to the next administration, likely going to be Democrat. Who knows? We'll see what happens in 4 years. And when that administration comes in, they're just going to spend away all of our political capital. They're going to spend away all those savings, and they're going to spend it on their political priorities. Now, if you want to serve the country, you would try to work for some bipartisan consensus to, you know, make sure we don't have our deficit servicing costs go out of control to make up like 50% of the budget or whatever. Like, that's what you would do if you cared enough about the country. But I mean, I haven't seen that initiative from Donald Trump whatsoever. And so I think he is behaving as many other self-servicing politicians have. And while not in the midst of an economic crisis, unless we're talking about the self-inflicted trade crisis, I don't think that Donald Trump's going to go out there and start this process all over again because Elon Musk decided to have principles about the deficit.
Literally, so much personal time. Running around the country like brothers. Call President Trump on the phone. We don't want to see y'all fighting on the internet. We don't want to see that. We don't want that. And we don't have time for that. Call him.
Who did they think they were voting for? Donald Trump, you're fighting with people on the internet? My gosh, I've never known you to be so emotional or to lash out in that way. There was this one post from JD Vance that killed me. I wonder if I can find it. It felt like he was just talking about a totally different person, a totally different administration. Let's see if I can find this post by JD Vance. Okay, here it is. Here's the post. It's from 12 hours ago. I'm not even going to put this on screen. I'm just going to read it to you. If I put it on screen, it'll spoil what JD Vance wanted to say about Donald Trump's character. There are many lies that the corporate media tells about President Trump. One of the most glaring is that he's impulsive or short-tempered. Anyone who has seen him operate under pressure knows that's ridiculous. It may be the single biggest disconnect between fake media perception and reality. Yeah, Donald Trump is not short-tempered. The dude who lost an election and responded by saying we need to terminate the United States Constitution permanently, that guy isn't short-tempered. Okay.
Get off of X. I know it's your platform, but get off of X and call Trump. Have you called him? Is he not picking up your calls? Is he not answering you? What's going on? Why are you coming to X?
What do they do if they find out that Trump isn't answering his calls? What would Terrence Williams, Terrence K. Williams? What would he do if he found out that Elon had tried to call Trump? And as Fox News is saying, Trump doesn't want to talk to him. And therefore, like, nothing. Like, what that? The problem is they don't want to pick a side. They certainly don't want to pick a side against the president, and they certainly don't want to alienate the richest man on the planet who put down $275 million to get Trump in there in the first place.
When you can easily dial his number. Both of y'all could be right. It's possible to be right at the same. It is possible for both of y'all to be right about this big, beautiful bill.
They can both, okay, so you can be right that it isn't going to increase the deficit, which is what Secretary Bessent said during Donald Trump's meeting with the Prime Minister of Germany, Merz, where he said, actually, the tariff income is going to make it so that we have a surplus. So the Trump position is that this bill is going to give them a surplus. Elon's position is that it's going to bankrupt the country. How can they both be right?
Maybe there is too much stuff in there, and there is a lot of great stuff in there. Work it out. Congress, go after them.
Please attack the vague entity of Congress. Please do the thing that gets us nowhere. Please. Look, this divide between Elon and Trump is not reversing. I don't see it reversing anytime soon. If it does reverse, I don't see it reversing until a major election comes up. And even then, what we might find is that Elon is trying to push his own pathway, funding his own candidates, funding people to do primaries, as he has slightly hinted he might be willing to do. But then again, here's the question. If an election comes around in 2026 or 2028, is Elon going to sit it out? Or is he just going to focus on his political project of primarying? Or is he going to decide that it's important enough to back President Trump, that he to stop the Democrats from taking back the House and sabotaging his agenda, that he's going to put down another 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars on it, however much money he wants to spend in the midterms? I don't know. But it's kind of hard to imagine coming back from, I believe that you're in the Jeffrey Epstein files, and you should be impeached. It's kind of hard to turn around that ship, because that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. Mind you, though, the reaction to this has not just been restrained to the borders of the continental United States. We also have responses from the Russians, who are loving every second of this. Let me read you what's going on in the Russian state press and many of their commentators. The feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk provoked chatter, mockery, and amusement amongst the ruling class in Moscow, where one senior official joked about hosting peace talks and another said Musk should bring his businesses to Russia. Elon, don't be upset, nationalist Senator Dmitry Rogozin, who once ran Russia's space program, wrote on Musk's ex-social media site. If you encounter insurmountable problems in the US, come to us. Here you will find reliable comrades and complete freedom of technical creativity. Dmitry Medvedev, a senior security official and former president, posted, "We are ready to facilitate the conclusion of a peace deal between D&E for a reasonable fee and to accept Starlink shares as payment. Don't fight, guys." The public feud between the U.S. president and world's richest man was an easy target for Russian politicians who have a history of gloating over perceived turmoil in Washington, D.C. Simoyan, the head of RT, one of Russia's most powerful state media executives, mocked it as an example of modern U.S. political culture, sort of like the English Industrial Revolution, only in reverse. Can I just say that the political education of Russia's ruling class is completely brain dead? What does that even mean? This is like the Industrial Revolution, only in reverse. This is a clash between two billionaires, okay? This is not even something that should be new to Russia in the last 30 years, okay? What is the Industrial? They just throw stuff at the wall. And because in Russia, critiquing, the official narrative can come with repercussions, and the existence of a free press in Russia is a joke, they can just throw whatever at the wall, no matter how brain dead it is, and expect to be patted on the back. Kirill Dmitriev, head of Russia's Sovereign Wealth Fund, who in the past tried to interest Musk in cooperating with Russia on flights to Mars, asked on Ask, "Why can't we all just get along?" He then asked Grok, X's AI chatbot, how Musk and Trump could reconcile. At Grok. At Grok. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, when asked about the clash, said it was an internal matter for the United States, though he was confident that Trump would handle it. Presidents handle a huge number of different things at the same time, some more and some less important, Peskov says. Others saw clear benefit for Russia from a feud distracting Washington. We can just be glad that they won't have time for us, Konstantin Moliev, a hardline nationalist tycoon, who said that it was now the best time to strike back against Ukraine. Basically, if Trump is too busy feuding with his billionaire supporters, then he's certainly not going to do anything to keep the Russians in line. That JD Vance, I can't get over that JD Vance post. How would anybody say that Trump has a short temper? What a ridiculous assertion. So ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.